Simon. That was lovely. So we're here at Beverly Festival, and you played yesterday, didn't you? At the session 2.
That's the one.
Yeah, the World Marquee. Yeah, it was really good. So, how did you enjoy that?
I really enjoyed it. It was good fun to play the gig. I got the gig through a friend of mine, Sam Pert, who's running the stage. This is the long story. I'm good friends with a really great folk guitarist called Stephenson. I did the Newcastle Folk and Traditional Music degree 2 years ago. That's when I graduated. And Ian was my guitar teacher on the degree. And I've done other performances where he was present and so on. And I got to perform as part of 422 and Friends at Whitby Folk Week. From then on, I've received this gig very kindly from Sam here at Beverly Folk Festival. It was a real joy to play. The audience were very sort of open to different styles of music.
Yeah, it was a good session, wasn't it?
Yeah. It was nice because a lot of my friends were on the same bill as well from Newcastle.
Yeah. It was a very northeastern sort of set, wasn't it? But it was a lovely evening.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed your music. And you write a lot of your own stuff as well, don't you?
I do, yeah. I write guitar instrumentals and my own songs. Because I was always been really into the performers on the folk scene that wrote their own material. Like Steve Tilston was a big influence on me.
Yeah.
He's a guitarist who writes his own songs. But a lot of them have these roots in like the folk scene, and they've got into the ballads and the blues and all this sort of thing.
Yeah.
And from that they've got into writing their own material and using that as an influence. And I think that's where I come from, sort of, as a player. You know?
Yeah. So what sort of thing? What do you write about? What's your themes?
What themes? Well, one of my instrumentals I played on that set was called the Singing Kettle Backstep, and it was inspired by ragtime music of the 1970s and guitarists like John James. And I wrote it about, we have a boiling kettle in the shared house where I live, and it makes a big whistling sound, and we all spend time pondering in the kitchen waiting for the kettle to boil. Yeah. So it was just about that really, you know, a little jaunty tune for waiting for a cup of tea.
Yeah. So everyday experiences can bring out lots of creativity.
Very much so, yeah. That's been a big part of my creativity, is about reality and about stuff that we can all relate to. Hopefully that comes through in my tunes that I write.
That's really good. And when you write, which comes first for you, the music or the words?
I think the words usually, actually, and then I put a tune to the words. Yeah, that's always the way with songwriting. Yeah. I write it like poetry first, and then if the scansion's good spoken, then I think, oh well, that's got potential for a tune. Yeah, I'll put a tune to it.
So does the rhythm of the words help you then in your sort of putting together the harmony of the backseat sort of?
It does, yeah. It gives you know, like that song. I sang a song that night, and when I read the words out, you know, it seemed like a waltz tempo was what it wanted. So I think it does help that, you know. Yeah. There's a tradition of thought with a lot of guitarists like Nick Jones and Chris Wood, who are folk singers and guitarists, where they're bending the music to fit the text. Yeah. So there's a lot of ideas where you know the words imply what your tune wants to do. Yeah. So that's what I learned from them.
What about that? So I can imagine that with the harmonies, but what about melodies? Because melodies always seem to have a sort of a life of their own, really.
Yes. Yeah. Well, I mean, when I write sort of guitar tunes, you know, I'll have a little melody in my head, or when I play the guitar, it'll come out with my fingers. You know, I'll be sort of messing around with a claw hammer sort of thing, a little pattern. You know, pick up an idea like as I'm trying that thing. This is a little excerpt from an instrumental I wrote called Singing Kettle Backstep. It basically started with this kind of bass line that goes like this. I thought that was quite boring, so I decided to try and get something that was like contained within the bass strings. No, not to go like that. Yeah. that I've kind of upset the rest of the instrumental. I've kept that going, so got stuff like this. Musical ideas to hopefully make something sound interesting, you know.
That's really good. I'm really impressed. You've got you're working on an album, aren't you, at the moment?
Yep, it's going to be called The Singing Kettle Backstep, and there's a friend of mine called Laura Grime. Her sister Lindsay Grime's an artist. She graduated from the Slade School of Art, and she's a really good illustrator, and she does a lot of stuff for children's schoolwork and stuff like that. So, and she does these kind of like watercolours, and I've asked her to do a singing kettle, you know, for the album cover. So I think I hope that she'll agree to the project, and that'll be really nice. And on that album there'll be a lot of my own guitar instrumentals and some traditional stuff, but my own interpretations of that. Because I think you know, again, it's another strand to what I do. Is I play traditional music, but I put my own harmonies to it. We all put our own creativity into it, so that'll be exciting.
So it has a contemporary feel then, in a sense.
Yeah. I think we're all renewing it. You know, giving it our own voice, and that's.
And have you got a recording time for this? Have you got a studio?
I'm going to sort this out.
Right.
It's a pathetic excuse, I know, but I've actually had so much work with a band recently that I haven't had time.
Well, that's good, isn't it? If you're in such demand that you can't get down to your...
I do a lot of work at the moment as a sideman. I work with a singer-songwriter from Middlesbrough called Sarah Dennis. Recording an album with her. I was playing a tune band called Twisted String Theory with a cellist called Chloe Merriott. So there's a lot of stuff going on where it's like... I feel all the rehearsal time for that, and you know, it's hard to get the time, but it's definitely going to be sorted out.
That sounds really good. But you've got some gigs coming up where people can come and listen to you.
Yes, I'm playing at Middlesbrough Literary Festival, playing on the final night of that, and that's at the end of this month.
Okay.
You can find leaflets for that, and there's a website.
Yeah, we'll put a link on towards it.
Oh, thanks. I'm also playing next week at Harwich Arts Festival with a singer and cellist called Chloe Merriott and a great mandolin player called Tom Kimball, who's just joined the folk degree course, and we're called Twisted String Theory. So that's where you can come and hear me play. Yeah,
that's brilliant. So if people want to come find your web pages or Facebook pages, where do they look?
My web page is www.simonstephenson with a PH in it. SimonStevensonGuitar.moonfruit.com. That's my website.
Brilliant. Well, we'll have to come and find you. Been a delight talking to you. Thank you for sharing your music with us.
Thanks very much.
Brilliant.